In this video, we're going to be replacing my AC compressor on my 2020 Ram 3500 with the 6.7 liter Cummins turbo diesel. So I wanted to replace it, and I'm going to link this one down below for you guys. There's a ton of aftermarket ones out there, but most of them are about 200, 250 bucks. At the making of this video, I managed to get a Denso unit, which is actually an OEM supplier, and I already looked at the stickers on this. It looks exactly the same. Same insignia, same stamping, same everything as the factory one that came on this truck. So that's the one we're gonna be installing on it. Again, link in the description below. As I'm making of this video, is about 300 bucks, which was only anywhere from 100 to $50 more than a competing, no-name one. So I think makes sense to get that one. So system is already empty, and what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna try to, take off as little as possible, and I'm gonna be doing it from the bottom here. So I've seen some guys that take the air box off. Really, that's usually only in an effort to get to the tensioner, but I'm gonna see if we can do it all from below. I've also seen people take the wheel off and the fender liner for more access, which we could very well do, and we might still do it, but I'm gonna try to take off as little as possible with the least amount of headache, and see how far we get. So let me get into it and show you guys what I end up doing. All right, so I've got a 1/2-inch drive ratchet here, and you can release the tensioner, as you can see right there. So I'm gonna press up on this, and we'll pop the belt off, and then we can go to the next step. Other thing too is I'm just noticing, I can see this compressor is leaking slightly, so it's running down here and across my oil pan and actually wetting right here. So probably won't be able to see it on camera. Actually, you can right there. So you can kind of see the, hopefully you can see that yellow kind of fluorescent looking dye right there with the oil in it. So it is actually leaking as well. So we're on the right track. Okay, so you can see there, I slid the belt out of the way. And now we need to disconnect the lines from the top, and then we can start getting some of these bolts out. Okay, so my truck's not lifted, but it is got a level on it that was previously installed. But I've got enough room in here. I just took out a couple of the fasteners here and actually just moved the fender liner out of the way without having to completely redo it. I'll be honest, it's not a whole lot more work to remove the whole fender liner, but I was able to do it just like this. If you wanted, you could probably turn your tire out too, get a bit more room. But we're at these two connections here. So 13 mil, 13 mil. We can disconnect those two hose connections. Okay, so we got the two 13 mil nuts removed. Just used a deep socket there. 3/8, was able to get in there, no problem. Now we can pop off our two lines. There's the one. You kind of have to take this one off before this one will let itself be removed. So I'm gonna swing them out of the way, and they might have some oil in it. Okay, so we've got our lines out of the way, and I just put some clean rags around them so no dirt gets introduced. And then we've got our connector here, so there's gonna be the red safety lock on it. So push it over, you don't have to completely remove it, but just slide it over. Then squeeze the connector and slides off. So that's the way you're gonna be pushing it over. So then we got this 13 mil bolt there, and then two down there, and then we can drop the compressor at the bottom. Okay, so we're loosening these 13 mil, so I was able to get a ratcheting 13 mil wrench in here. I have seen some of these Ram trucks, they've got a hole here and a hole there, and you can actually put an extension all the way through the frame. Whatever reason, mine doesn't seem to have that. I have one hole there, but I don't think I had a corresponding hole on the other side. But anyways, easily able to get here in with 13. These bolts, you won't be able to remove them. If you've watched any other videos on this, don't take the bolts completely out of here, and you won't be able to. But make sure when you go to reinstall this, and we'll double check and I'll remind you again, put the bolts in the AC compressor so that you can put it up here, because otherwise if you install the AC compressor with the top bolt, you won't have enough room to reinstall these two bottom bolts. All right, so I removed this one completely first, and then I just removed the top one because you can get that bolt out. And then last, I'm gonna do this one since we're doing it from the bottom, so that I can remove this and catch the AC compressor as it comes down. So a few more threads. I just didn't want to get my ratchet stuck in there. Okay, so bolt is out. AC compressor coming down. Hopefully it doesn't puke a bunch of oil on my face. I still have my ratchet in here. Maybe we can move it out of the way, but it's also kind of holding everything, so let me finagle this out of here. Let me take this bolt out of here, but we gotta make sure we install it on the way back in. I just really don't want to dump oil on my face. Okay. So we're almost free and clear. Alright. Looks like we are out. Okay, so here's the old one. I want to show you guys that that's the original. Here's this AC Delta one. It is literally the exact same one. So, assuming Denso is the OEM supplier, look at this. Like, absolutely the same sticker. Made in Japan. Made in Japan. All these markings. See here, this X102 underneath all that. X102, 107, 107, like 17, it's the exact same compressor. This one doesn't have the little sticker, but it's the same style of clutch also. So we are putting in OEM, but just at a fraction of the price. So it's also got the studs on it too. It's pre-filled with oil. And the other thing too is no core charge, so you don't have to deal with sending this one back in and paying for shipping back. But this is a brand new one, it's not a rebuild. So you also notice it's got the studs right there ready to go. It's pre-filled with oil. If you guys want, and some AC guys might tell you to dump the oil out of this, measure it, and then dump the oil out of this, measure it, make sure you're good to go. All right, don't mind the mess in the shop, but I wanted to show you guys this. So if you look right here, it does say that the total AC system fill is about 6 ounces. AC condenser holds 1 ounce, AC evaporator holds 2, so we got 3 right there. As for the AC compressor, it doesn't have an exact amount. It says drain and measure the oil from the old compressor, see compressor drain oil. So essentially what we did here. So this, we only took out 2. So if the AC condenser holds 1, the AC evaporator holds 2, and then we give about 1 ounce in the lines, you know, of course, there's probably some stuck in the lines, then that would make sense because that would give us 4, and then the 2 that we took out plus some residual. So that's one of the reasons why you want to check these things. If we were replacing other stuff, like, you know, maybe the AC condenser at the same time, then yeah, maybe 4 would make sense. But you can easily, they're a little generous sometimes with this. And like I said, we took out 4 right now. So we only want to put back the same as what was before, since we're not replacing any other AC components. Otherwise, this thing would be running around with too much oil. So too much, I mean, a little bit extra lubrication would be okay, but apparently if you have too much in there, it can damage things. So we're not going to put back the whole 4, and I've got everything covered over with the towel as we kind of dug through it. Now we'll put the right mount, the same that we took out, back in here, all fresh stuff. We're not going to touch anything with all that, but same amount is going to go in it, and then we can install it. Okay, so we've got our AC compressor with the correct amount of oil. We use these plugs to keep it sealed up while we get it up and in there. And then make sure before you kind of get into its final resting stage that you get these 2 bolts in place. So I'm gonna get it above the sway bar first, and then we'll drop these in. All right, so they do say you gotta remove the sway bar in the service manual, but I was able to squeeze it up through here pretty easy. So all I gotta do is just turn it around, and then we'll get it up in that cavity there, but I'm sure you guys can handle that part. It does fit through here without taking anything else out. Even with my ratchet in the way, I still can get it through. We got it in here. It's getting these bolts running from the bottom here with our ratchet. All right, so I got 3 bolts tight from down here. Now I'm gonna use our 1/2-inch ratchet, release the tension, get the belt on. Halfway on here, and I'm kind of just working it across here. So I'm gonna have to go up top and double check that none of the upper pulleys slipped off, but you can kind of just work it on right here. Okay, everything looks good from down here. None of the pulleys slipped off. But again, we'll check the alternator up there, make sure nothing slipped off, but I think we should be good. So now let's go up here to the side. We'll reconnect our hoses and our clip. First things first, I'm gonna plug this in before the hoses get in the way. So we'll find our plug in the dark here. It clicked on, and then we'll close the red safety latch. All right, so lines are back on, everything's secure. So we'll flip our fender liner back in place, and then we can go on to pulling vacuum on the system. And actually, it does look like, I don't know if it would have made that much of a difference, but you can see through here, my frame's got at least 1, access hole where you could probably get to that 13 mil bolt if you really wanted to. Okay, next up, we've got a vacuum pump here, and then you're gonna need a gauge set, and don't do it the cheap way, you guys, you know, getting one of those charge into cans with one hose. You want to pull a vacuum on it to do it properly. So what we're gonna do is both of these are open, so all the way down. These two are currently closed, and then we've got our vacuum line at the moment going to the vacuum pump. So we're gonna switch this on, and then we're gonna open the low side, and you're gonna see it go negative here. So it's gonna pull 30 as far as the vacuum, but you wanna do that. And then you're also gonna open up your high side, and you're gonna pull a vacuum from both. So we're gonna leave these two open. And some guys will tell you differently, but I like to leave it pulling a vacuum for 30 to 40 minutes just to make sure you completely evacuate system and get all of that air out of the system. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes. We are actually doing really well on vacuum there. So what we're gonna do is, before we turn off the vacuum, we're gonna completely close each side here, our low and then now our high. So we're gonna cut these closed, double check all of your connections are tight, and now we can turn off our vacuum. So what you can do is, if you're suspecting that there could still be a leak, then you're gonna let the gauges sit for, you know, half an hour or whatever you feel comfortable with, and make sure that it maintains vacuum. In our case, I'm really not worried about it maintaining a vacuum, just because it was just a compressor that was just starting to rattle a little bit, and we're ready to charge this. So if your vehicle still has the sticker, it will tell you how much you need to put in it. So you'll see here R134A, 595 grams or 1.31 pounds. And then it says for the oil, PAG oil, but we don't have to worry about the oil. We already went through that. So if you look here, 340 grams per can. So that means we only need 2 cans, and we don't even need the full second can. So this thing really does not hold much of anything in my opinion, but that's what it says here. So what we're gonna do is, we've actually got one of these little scales, and we can weigh how much we're gonna put in, so we can weigh what a full can weighs, and then we can subtract what we want to add in after the first can, and then get the right amount. So essentially that's the easy way. These things are, I can link this down below if you guys want. It's probably only 20 bucks if I had to guess. You know, cheap little scale. It's all you really need to make sure you get the exact amount in there if you're trying to go by the amount that's on the sticker. So if we look here, 441 grams is a completely new full can with the weight of the can and whatnot. And then I have one here that is a partial can from before, 334. So this one is almost 100 grams less, which is just a little on the low side as far as what we need. Anyways, that's how you can essentially find out how much you're putting in. We know that we have to use almost 2 of these cans. All right, so I will advise, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I don't care if I look like a nerd. I'm wearing gloves and glasses. If for some reason this stuff pops off at high pressure and blasts you in the eyeballs, it's the last thing you want to have happen. So we've got our cans here, and then we've got this valve here. So we're gonna screw this on, make sure that it is fully counterclockwise, because there's a little plunger in there that presses on the valve in there. So as long as this is counterclockwise, we can screw this onto our can. So let me get that down there, and then we're gonna connect this to the end of our yellow line that we had on there. Okay, so we got this hose connected. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start to screw this down. You're gonna hear the line right there fill. So you don't really have to go much more than that. You can bottom it out, but sometimes you bottom out, it actually closes it. We're gonna put this over here out of the way. It's our first can. And then what we're gonna do is come over here, and this line is full of air. So sometimes you'll have like a little Schrader valve underneath this cap that you can purge it with, or crack the line here, whatever you prefer, but you need to get the air out of there because you don't want to introduce all the air that's in this line right here. All right, so with your feed line purged, you're gonna open the low side. Obviously the truck's not running right now. We can fill it as much as it wants to take from the low side. We're gonna go nice and slow here. You don't wanna just crack these valves wide open. So we're just going to introduce everything nice and slow. And so that way we have just enough in here so that the compressor can kick on and we can suck in the rest of the charge. So no matter what you do, you don't want to like run this guy wide open, even when it's running, because you just don't want to introduce everything too fast. Okay, so now we are ready to start the vehicle. Turning on our AC. Don't put it on recirculation, because if you want to check your pressures, you want to do it based on your ambient temps and your pressures. But if you put on recirculation, it kind of throws the whole ambient temp thing out the window. So I'll turn this thing on. We'll go to our climate here. We're gonna turn off recirculation. I'll let this screen kind of boot up here. All right, so we've got the AC on low, recirc off, and it's on our vents here. So we'll go back, and the AC compressor should start to draw some of this in. Yeah, we're already starting to show on the high side. So our first can is empty. Make sure your valves are both shut. You're not touching your high pressure one while you're filling anyways, only the low, so make sure this is closed. You're gonna undo the plunger, and then we will unscrew this and screw the new can on. So new can is on. We're gonna screw down the plunger. With the vehicle running, you're probably not gonna hear it necessarily fill the line. Depending on your valve, sometimes this will actually close to the line, but just to be safe, double check that this line, the yellow one, isn't full of air again. You might want to purge it when you put the new can on. Alright, so we're gonna slowly introduce into the system again. And again, we're not gonna put in the whole can, but we'll measure it on our scale and make sure that we're putting in the right amount that's on our sticker here. Okay, and if we weigh the can, we got about 170. And if you remember, the can was originally about 444. That's 170, 274 plus 340. So we got about 600 grams, give or take, with the purge. So we are real close to our 595 there. Okay, it is 104 out according to my truck, and in here 57 degrees, so I'll take it. Okay, and that's a wrap for this video, you guys. So if you guys found this helpful or informative, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the other videos on the channel. We got a lot of helpful Ram videos, whether it's a Cummins, an EcoDiesel, a Hemi, Hellcats. We've got all kinds of stuff on this channel, so check out those videos, and I will link also everything down in the description that you need to get the job done. So thanks again for watching. See you guys on the next video.